everyone. I'm Reginald Jones.
And I'm Devin Sellers. We are the evening anchors at WTVY in Dothan.
Our station prides itself on being the hometown news leader, but we're also the powerhouse in this market for sports, weather, and community outreach. And now the staff at News 4 wants to prove we can take the top spot in the state. The Wiregrass area felt the wrath of Mother Nature when massive amounts of rain were dumped in our backyard. A number of area cities experienced flooding. The city of Elba is bracing for potential major flooding in the next 24 hours.
There's a lot of anxious folks in western Coffee County and really across the city of Elba.
We're going to stay here as long as we can until we absolutely have to get out of here.
But hopefully you may not have to, right?
Hopefully not.
And tonight there is a voluntary evacuation of Elba residents who may be in harm's way.
We're watching the situation here in Houston County. You've heard throughout the day about the P River, but now the Chattahoochee River has become a problem.
Throughout the day, water levels continue to rise at the Three River Bridge on Highway 84. An hour ago, in fact, Elba Mayor Mickey Murdoch signed an emergency declaration in regard to the impending disaster.
At this time, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, along with the Department of Transportation, discussing whether or not to shut the large gates of this new levee, to shut it in order to keep the floodwaters from converging upon the city.
It is now confirmed the Christmas flood of 2015 has turned deadly.
Now they started searching yesterday afternoon, and then earlier today they did get a break in the search for those bodies, including the one of a missing 5-year-old child.
As of 2:30 this afternoon, the water level at the P River Bridge on Highway 84 was slightly above 41 feet.
You know, as bad as it is in Columbia, it's actually a little bit better than it was yesterday. Let me show you why.
Now, therefore, it is proclaimed that emergency conditions exist throughout the county.
Geneva County Commission Chairman Fred Hammock signed a local state of emergency this morning.
Damage assessments continue in Elba, but also not only in Elba, but across western and northern Coffee County as well.
Just yesterday, this road was covered with water, but the Chattahoochee River is receding quickly.
Early in 2015, sequestration had a big impact on our local military base. Fort Rucker is one of the Wiregrass's biggest employers, and any cuts to the post would be felt by surrounding communities.
Residents and business leaders from across the Wiregrass are continuing to arrive on Fort Rucker for tonight's public forum.
News 4's Matthew McClellan is at Fort Rucker. He joins us now with what went on in that meeting. Matt?
News 4's Devin Sellers is standing by with Alabama's 2nd District U.S. Representative Martha Roby. She continues our team coverage. Devin?
News 4's Mike Grispan joins us live from our Enterprise State Community College newsroom with more on this. Mike?
Over 1,500 people attend a forum that could determine the future of Fort Rucker.
Natasha, more than 800 people filled seats in this theater. Another 800 packed the landing for overflow seating. So just the number of people who were here really goes to show how much Fort Rucker means to this community. And like this sticker I have says, for many people, Fort Rucker is the heartbeat of the Wiregrass. As Army representatives take their stories to Washington, thousands in the Wiregrass are hoping Congress does get what's at stake at Fort Rucker. Now, I should point out that no decisions, were reached tonight. Now, Devin, city officials from several cities in our area have been talking to a panel today from the Pentagon. I know we weren't able to be there, but you talked to these city officials. How did they say it went?
Well, they say it went really well. We will, of course, have to take their word for it.
The Army had to have something to work with to start formulating how they would deal with any level of cuts. So there's no real cuts yet identified, but it is very good for us to get ahead of it, to start talking about how it would impact us and let that story be told to the Army.
A story these leaders were eager to tell.
Late in the year, allegations surfaced that the Dothan Police Department planted evidence against black males. It's a story that got the attention of many around the country, and News 4 was there as the community rallied for and against the men in blue. Suggestions of illegal activity by Dothan police by a controversial website's blog.
An article appearing on the website henrycountyreport.com claims Dothan officers have in the past planted drugs on young black men, then arrested those men.
This type of crap.
The author? A man known as John Carroll.
And it burns me up.
A day after Dothan's police chief lashed out at an internet blogger, there may be more going on behind the scenes.
Now that report is being called into question. The Southern Poverty Law Center backing off in a series of tweets Thursday. In a statement to News 4, an SPLC spokesperson said it cannot substantiate or disprove the claims by the Henry County report.
They didn't check any of their facts. They put information out there, and it has created quite a firestorm here in Dothan. I would like a public apology.
It was standing room only at a church in Dothan, a meeting that was called after allegations over corruption within the Dothan Police Department come to light. The passion in the room was indescribable as each person told their story.
Today's Dothan City Commission meeting was heated, but the controversy wasn't among commissioners.
One person in particular calling into question a couple of things: the chief's former membership in a group and recent allegations on the internet about misconduct by police officers.
And for that reason, it has caused the citizens of this city and the people that I stand here and speak on behalf to feel very unsafe and very uncomfortable in their own town.
Court records show Saffold has a history of arrest.
Chief Parrish did not respond today. However, a couple of weeks ago, he did lash out at those critical of him and his police officers, calling the allegations untrue.
They're not buying into these allegations, and they want one thing, and that is for Chief Steve Parrish to remain at the helm of the Dothan Police Department. I'm live in the newsroom. Ken Curtis, WTVY, your hometown news leader right now.
It is usually a huge attraction for our area every year, the National Peanut Festival. This year, above average rainfall put a damper on the event.
For the first time in festival history, the fairgrounds closed. From schedule changes to parking concerns, WTVY was there.
History is made at the National Peanut Festival.
For the first time in its history, the National Peanut Festival closed for a full day this weekend.
Well, if we do the averages, we would say we lost $2,500.
We have actually had over 10 inches of rain falling in Dothan since last Sunday. So that has made the parking lots at the National Peanut Festival completely impassable.
I spoke with a handful of vendors today, and the average loss was about $3,000. Now, obviously, profits vary from day to day depending on turnout, but the fact remains that Sunday falls on a weekend. It's a great time for families to get out there and enjoy the festival together, and unfortunately for these vendors, it means money they won't get back.
Tell me the impact that this is having on everything.
As far as the rides and the concessions and the food stands, we're in good shape. All the midways here are blacktop. When the patrons come, they will not be in any mud whatsoever. They'll be walking on the asphalt.
Traffic continues to be a problem for the National Peanut Festival. Last night, there were long wait times at the bus stops, traffic backed up to Walmart, and even people trying to park on the side of the highway. Finally, some good news for folks headed out to the National Peanut Festival. Some parking is now available on site.
Today, they reopened parts of the south parking lot, which was huge because that made 2,500 parking spots available for tonight.
In February, the city of Dothan had a special election for the District 5 Commission seat.
And to help our viewers make an informed decision, WTVY hosted a debate with the three candidates.
We're now joined by the three candidates for the District 5 Commission race for a live debate. Now, before the show, each candidate drew a number to determine the order. They'll have 1 minute and 30 seconds each for an opening statement. Then the question portion will begin. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer. Rhonda Pasibi will begin the opening statement.
I'm Rhonda Pasibi. I'm a Dothan native. I am a community activist. I'm a mother of 3. I'm a military spouse. I'm a neighbor, and I'm a soccer mom. I'm just like you.
The people and places that I care most about in this world are all within a 30-mile radius of where we sit right now. And that's why I'd like to be the next city commissioner for Dothan District 5.
I have a little bit of a different story from the other two candidates. I'm not a Dothan native. Like our mayor, I did not come from here, but I have made this place home.
We'll now begin with the question portion of this debate. And question 1 is, what is the biggest challenge facing District 5? In all 3 of your platforms, you discuss the need to bring new business and more jobs to the area. So how do you plan to accomplish those goals, and what specific industries would be a good fit for Dothan? What is your position on the state of public education in Dothan, and how do we improve the quality of education for all students?
The biggest challenge facing District 5
is job growth,
communication,
better economic development.
I think it would be a good idea.
Some business license reform.
One thing we're lacking is manufacturing.
To target the industries that have already been identified.
I'm very excited.
Our schools have come a long way.
Provide our students with the latest technologies.
Bright Key program. program.
Now each candidate will have 1 minute to deliver a closing statement.
I hope that the fact that I have knocked on many a door in District 5 will indicate to you some level of my commitment to this process and give you some indication of my work ethic.
I'm Mary Beth Reynolds. I love Dothan. I am passionate about our community. I believe in our citizens. I believe in our body of work.
I'm just a real person wanting to serve real people, and I think that's what we need in Dothan.
Our viewing area saw its share of severe weather throughout 2015.
Through every storm, WTVY was there, keeping the Wiregrass weather aware.
Severe weather hits the Wiregrass, the damage left behind.
You could hear the roar, and it touched down, got some trees behind the house, and then it sort of shook the house and come on through here. And
underneath the train trestle on South Main Street, emergency crews rescued the driver of this stalled SUV after flash floodwaters got above the steering column.
I'm here right off of Road 27 in Abbeville on the battlegrounds of what I like to call train versus tornado. And as you can see here, these 30-ton freight trucks have been blown completely off their track.
Houston County experienced the brunt of the storms in the wake left behind by them. Luckily, no one was injured, but it left behind a big and costly mess.
Continuing our team coverage tonight, Geneva County Emergency Management Director Margaret Mixon does not expect flood issues from either the Choctawhatchee or Pea Rivers.
The severe weather is certainly what's on everyone's mind tonight. Now, in show business, they actually say the show must go on, but the storms made that impossible at Toad Lick Music Festival. The gusty winds and heavy rain damaged the stage beyond repair. The festival was actually canceled before many of tonight's headliners could take the stage. We're going to go now to live to Mike Gerspan in our Enterprise Bureau with the latest from the western counties of our area. Mike, what have you seen out there?
A lot of misconception that this was possibly a tornado, when actually this was just straight line winds.
Coming up on News 4 this morning, if possible tornado damages some businesses in Troy. We have a live report coming up.
We flared up last night around 10:30, 10:45-ish, and those are always the most dangerous, is when it's, it's dark outside, people are not anticipating it, and then, kind of out of the blue there, we saw that storm pop up.
News 4's Lauren Linehan is live in front of the Hibbett Sports that's on Highway 231, which was hard hit by the storm. Lauren?
But this whole shopping mall that the possible tornado came through, it only hit Hibbett Sports. You can actually see some of the debris behind me.
The school board made the decision to close all Henry County schools today as they work to pick up the pieces.
2 Headland schools will remain closed most of this week after being damaged in weekend storms.
Headland students will be out of school at least through Wednesday.
Was actually inside one of the buildings and was told that I needed to leave if for nothing other than my own safety. The storm was so isolated that the rest of the surrounding area, no more than a parking lot away, essentially remains untouched.
The 2015 legislative session was anything but cut and dried, with lawmakers failing to reach a budget agreement not once, but twice.
News 4 was in Montgomery for the regular and both special sessions.
Everything is being taken seriously up here right now, particularly that proposed budget that does cut Medicare more than $150 annually. Like a roller coaster up here, just less than an hour ago, the House failed to pass the budget, defeating that budget proposal that does cut $156 million from the Medicaid budget in Alabama.
The Alabama House, after meeting for only a few minutes, adjourned this morning. The budget eyes are now on the Senate that is about to begin their session.
Still no agreement on an Alabama budget. In fact, about the only thing lawmakers can agree on these days is that they can't agree on much of anything.
We have exclusive word that Alabama Governor Robert Bentley will veto the budget passed by the Senate earlier today.
The Senate reconvenes at noon on Monday. We will be back here bringing you the most comprehensive legislature coverage of the Wiregrass.
Governor Robert Bentley, in an exclusive interview with News 4, expresses disappointment in the handling of state business.
Is the third time a charm for state lawmakers when it comes to a budget?
Things are off to a much better start in this special session of the Alabama legislature.
Lawmakers now gathering. In fact, the gavel sounding right now to begin a second special session. Lawmakers began the second special session just about an hour ago.
2 bills had been passed, one a nursing home tax, the other a pharmacy tax, generating a net of about $16 million together. Reg, as of this morning, things were progressing pretty quickly.
The Alabama House has been working throughout the day as the clock ticks toward a government shutdown.
Well, it is a mixture of Good news and bad news at the State House today. The House did pass several revenue-raising measures, among them that 5-cent per pack cigarette tax hike, also passing a $410 nursing home bed tax, also a transaction tax of 15 cents at pharmacies in the state.
Two main things you need to know about that: tax increases and moving or unearmarking money from the education fund to the general fund.
Well, Alabama Governor Robert Bentley speaks out about the general fund budget making its way through the House and Senate today.
To begin, let me tell you, it's been a nice change of pace for the way things have been progressing here along Goat Hill. Dare I say optimism.
The Alabama Senate has a budget tonight.
It's been a long, laborious process to get a budget in place, and it's a budget some say only puts a Band-Aid on Alabama's financial woes.
2015 proved to be another big year for sports in our state. It began in January with the Alabama football team playing in the inaugural college football playoff at the Sugar Bowl. It ended there as well with the Crimson Tide back in the postseason, this time in Dallas.
In between, local teams brought home state championships, and our area played host to some of the biggest amateur events in the state.
Good evening and Happy New Year. Glad to have you on board with us here at the Superdome for Destination Dallas. Well, we have a dozen local golfers that will be in action tomorrow as the big boys, we call them. Yes, the 15 to 18 age group will be in action here at the 66th Annual Future Masters.
Last year, Abbeville Christian got a taste of what it's like to be a state champion. They brought home the first ever state title in program history. The Elba Tigers finally broke it open in the fourth quarter with that run game, and the Elba Tigers are your Class 2A state champions, beating Fife 36-22.
Good evening and welcome to AT&T Stadium here in Dallas. I'm Tony Cornish Jr. on what should be an exciting night as we get ready for kickoff here at the Cotton Bowl.
And I'm Taylor Tannenbaum. Like you said, number 2 Alabama, number 3 Michigan State, set to take center stage right here at AT&T Stadium just shortly for the second national semifinal game of the day. Great college football action today.
2015 marked a milestone for WTVY.
All year long, we celebrated our 60th anniversary, looking back on the early days of the station.
Over the next 30 minutes, we're going to be taking a trip down memory lane, looking back at 60 years of history here at WTVY. Now, WTVY signed on the air on Saturday, February 12th, 1955 at 4:30 p.m.
Well, I started back when we were Channel 9. Yeah, back in the old days out on the Cottonwood Road.
WTVY originally broadcast its signal on Channel 9. That all changed on New Year's Day, 1961.
Well, I began working with TVY in 1974.
In February of 1993, WTVY moved into the old Houston Hotel on North Foster Street.
Charles Woods was one of the most unique people I've ever met.
Obviously, he was a legend in the Wiregrass.
Sitting next to Reg Jones every evening, bringing the Wiregrass the news you needed to know, and the groundbreaking What's Good in the Neighborhood series was pure joy every day. It's an opportunity for which I'm eternally grateful.
Well, there's no question WTVY has come a long way over the past 60 years, from 17 hours a day of test pattern to 24-hour programming every day of the year.
Technology has also grown and changed over the years, and we're not done growing. We've got several projects in the works you'll be seeing in the near future.
One thing has not changed over the years and will remain a constant. That's our promise to continue to provide the best local and network programming to the Wiregrass on a daily basis.
All this year, WTVY teamed up with Solomon Chevrolet to make miracles happen. We've given away $1,000 to 10 people.
The only catch, we had to do it in less than an hour.
I spoke with Miss Jackson, and she said that you could really use this money, and that you not only could you use it, you deserve it.
Is this a joke?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. This is not a joke. I cannot think of anybody else who deserves that more than you.
Oh my God.
WTVY is happy to make miracles happen in the Wiregrass. We've been doing our Miracle on Foster Street food drive for 3 years.
This year, we raised more than 80,000 pounds of food for our local food bank to help needy Wiregrass families. And you have helped make a miracle for hundreds of families in the Wiregrass this December. Between the monetary donations and the actual food collected, we raised 81,684 pounds for the food bank. WTVY is committed to having a meaningful impact on the communities we serve. We make an effort to make That's our mission every day.
We'd like to thank you for reviewing our entry as you consider us for TV Station of the Year.